The team and I are back in Virginia. After getting rained out on our first night investigation, we spoke with the local ranger, who found us a safe place to camp so we can investigate one area for the rest of the week. While the team sits around the campfire, I've snuck away to investigate the area further, and I just got a hit on my thermal imager. Does somebody at camp copy?
I got you, Matt. What's up? Did anybody walk upstream
From camp about 200 or 300 feet.
No, nobody did.
There's a big, bright blip moving in your direction.
Copy. I'm gonna try to spy it right now. Here.
Get it, Cliff, get it.
From Matt's vantage point, he says he sees some mammals over there. Something's glowing bright, something is warm. If this is a Bigfoot, we don't want to scare it away. So while Bobo and Renee sit tight, I'm gonna sneak away to try to find a better vantage point.
Cliff, you seeing anything?
I see them, yeah, they are deer.
Cliff just positively identified them as deer.
Dang it.
We made a lot of noise tonight, but nothing came in except for the deer. That's actually important in itself. We had not seen deer up until that point at the campsite. If they're up here in the cold, that means other mammals are probably up here in the cold as well. Maybe we don't need to drop down in elevation to run across large mammals. Jess has been infinitely helpful with this week's expedition. She is actually rounding up witnesses by putting the word out in the Conservancy itself of people who have encountered strange things.
All right, looks like they found us.
These witnesses are going to be local to the area, and that's going to help us because this is going to be a different kind of town hall this week. Yeah, it's nice of you to come all the way out here to meet with us. We really do appreciate it. And of course, you've been invited because many of you have actually seen Sasquatches either very, very close to here or not too far away. And we want to learn a little bit more about what the Bigfoots are doing, particularly at this time of year in this part of the country.
My name's Josh Wilson, and this is my son Caleb. We had 2 dogs outside, and we gone out to bring them in, and we started clapping for them, and when we did that, we heard wood knocks in the woods behind our house. And we could see something shadowy moving, kind of like back and forth.
This noise was only about 10 yards from where we were standing. Next major thing that we noticed was right in the sand, there was a huge footprint just right there in the sand.
My first expedition ever hunting with my family. Off and on today, you got that eerie quiet that you get in the woods where nothing's moving, no wind, no leaves are rustling, not even the crickets are chirping, it's just dead silence. Directly behind where our tent was set up at, there was a tall, shadowy figure standing there. It was brown, very long, stringy hair, but thick, eyes very piercing. It was like he never wanted to break eye contact. That next morning when I got up, less than 10 yards in front of us, there stood the same figure and just started breaking lances off, throwing stuff towards our camp, and then just let out loud. And then it just stopped. And it was dead silence. I don't know how we did it, but we packed an entire hunting camp for 16 people in less than 20 minutes.
Dude, that's the best story I've heard in a long time. Dude, that's awesome.
My story, it was after deer season, beginning of December. There's a old, washed out road that's no longer used anymore. And I stop and I'm contemplating like which way I'm gonna take it. And I see this huge, huge animal. And what caught my really attention is the massive width of the animal. I mean, it was like 2 widths of me. So the next day, I took the camera, went over there, started seeing footprints. And the 2 impressions were in the ground, and then you can see hair in the tree.
Ooh. It kind of looks like that long, thin, stringy, human-like hair that Bigfoots will have.
And I don't hunt that side of the property even today. I just stay 2 ridges over.
Jess really came through sending us a bunch of witnesses who had incidents all around this one centralized location. We're gonna base our operations out of this camp all week, and we're gonna set up trail cameras and investigate the area for signs of Sasquatches. We don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket, so on top of all that, we're going to be following up with some of these witnesses and hopefully learn as much as we can about the Bigfoots in this area.
Renee and I set off on ATVs to go to the spot where Daryl saw a Sasquatch from some 100 or so yards. He saw this huge figure that really stood out and looked out of the ordinary, something he'd never seen before. Upon further investigation, he found footprints and possibly even a hair sample. How you doing, sir? I want to learn, what did Daryl see? I think he saw a Sasquatch, but I won't know for sure until after I speak to him at the location. So is this the spot?
Yes, it is. What happened is I was coming down a four-wheeler. Then I see of this animal. I noticed reflection of the fur from the sun hitting it, and it was huge. That's when I decided to turn on my four-wheeler and take off straight down the hill to get out.
Listening to Daryl recount his story, there's a few things that stand out for me. First of all, if he's riding an ATV and he comes down this trail, why would the Sasquatch just be standing there? That doesn't make any sense. And additionally, he said he found some tracks later and some hair, but of course, conveniently, he can't find it. But I want to walk to that spot, stand there for myself, and see just what type of visibility, whatever it was, had that day. Okay, Daryl, now you said it was standing sort of profile?
Right.
And in comparison to me, how large was the figure you saw that day, Daryl?
You're probably about 40% of it in the width.
40%?
Yeah.
40%?
Okay, so what about the height? Any gauge on the height, Daryl?
Yes, it's definitely taller than you are right there.
Renee, why don't you raise your hand up and we can tell you when to stop.
Yeah, somewhere.
Somewhere right in there. So not dramatically taller than you, maybe another 6 or 8 inches.
Okay, that's 6.5, 7 foot.
Yeah, at this distance, with the size of the thing you saw, I think that it's pretty easy to rule out a human being, but it's the width.
Right.
I mean, that thing had to be that wide.
Yeah, that's the thing that caught me.
I have no problem whatsoever with Daryl's story. Everything he says is exactly congruent with what I've heard from hundreds and hundreds of witnesses in the past. This guy saw a Sasquatch. There is zero doubt in my mind that he did. Case closed, man. You saw a Sasquatch.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Bobo and I are on our way to meet with Richard. He was the witness from the town hall meeting that had so many incidents near where we've got camp set up on the edge of this deer preserve. I wanted to check out this story because these incidents where Sasquatch is being very confrontational, especially with a group of people at a camp, well, maybe that Sasquatch is more prone to coming exposing itself.
This is the sticks, man.
Yes, it is. This is a home away from home for me.
All right.
So run us through what happened.
Well, we were camping here, just family fun, enjoying getting to hunt in the woods, spend time with family. But the third morning we were here, got up and started stretching, and this ginormous, hairy, man-like figure standing there, just broad shoulders, just staring me down, and this loud scream. Just bent over to grabbing rocks and throwing rocks, ripping tree limbs down, and then took off across the road and up into the woods.